أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Now, we begin our session for today with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, which means we begin with the name of Allah, the Allah which stands for the Allah who is the most kind, the most beneficent, the most merciful. No one else is as beneficent, as merciful to human beings, to mankind, as Allah. We all know Allah has 99 names revealed to mankind. Today, we will try to know about 2 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As a Muslim, we need to know Allah's names so that we understand Allah Ghafur Rahim, Allah Rahmanur Rahim better. We love him better, we know him better, we know of his characteristics, his qualities that he would like us to know, his attributes. Now, the name we are going to talk about today is Al-Quddus, which means the holy. Allah is the only holy one, who is the most holy. He is free from all unholiness and errors of any sort. Allah alone is the one who is holy. No one else, no man, angel, or jinn is as holy as Allah Almighty. Allah is the only one who is the perfect holy one. And so we say he is Al-Quddus, the Holy One. Another name of Allah we will talk about today is As-Salam. As-Salam means the source of peace. Allah is the source of peace, the perennial source of peace. He grants peace and security to all his creatures, to all his creation. He grants all of us peace. Alhamdulillah that we are taking this opportunity to learn the sacred names of Allah. In the Holy Quran, Surah 7, Al-Araf, Ayat 180, it is said, to Allah belongs the best names, so invoke him by them. So in the Holy Quran, we are urged to know Allah by his different names and call upon him with those beautiful names. As Muslims, as I said, we believe in Allah and also believe in his beautiful names, which describe his attributes. To worship, to love, or even to fear Allah, we need to understand Allah. His beautiful names describe him. Today, the story we are going to talk about is the goose that laid golden eggs. It is one of Aesop's many fables. Aesop was a slave and legendary storyteller of ancient Greece. His stories are short but interesting. In all of his fables, the characters are usually animals, plants, and forces of nature with human qualities, illustrating human virtues and failings. They have stood the test of time. They are popular even today among people of all ages and all countries. They teach us lessons which all of us need to learn. They teach us about morals, ethics, and much more. So as I already said, the story we are going to talk about is the goose that laid golden eggs. Once upon a time, there lived a poor farmer in a remote village. He was so poor that he could hardly make both ends meet. On a market day, his wife gathered all the coins and petty notes that she had been saving for quite some time from every nook and corner of the house. She gave the money thus collected to her husband and asked him to go and buy something from the market that would help them survive. The farmer was encouraged by his wife and set out for the market. At the market, there were fruits and flowers, vegetables and fishes, fowls and ducks, cows and bulls, and anything and everything one could think of. It's a marketplace. The farmer was confused. He was in a dilemma as to what to buy. Soon an idea occurred to him. As he was a farmer and had a small pond in his homestead, a goose would be the best thing to buy, he thought. As he walked through the lanes, he came across an old man sitting with a few ducks and geese. The farmer was excited to see one goose that was fat and plump. After some haggling with the old man, the farmer bought the goose. He had just enough money to pay for the cost of the goose. Whistling merrily, the farmer reached home. His wife was surprised to see her husband in such a jolly mood and prayed for the best. It was dusk by the time the farmer reached home. Soon it was dinner time. The farmer's wife found a cozy place for the goose and gave it some food. The two of them, the farmer and his wife, had their simple dinner and off they went to bed to sleep. The next morning, with the rising of the sun, came the greatest surprise for the old couple. The newly bought goose laid a golden egg. The farmer and his wife were overjoyed at this and could hardly believe their eyes. They thought and thought what they could do with the golden egg, and finally decided that the farmer should go to town to sell the golden egg and get some money. He did so. The farmer went to town to sell the golden egg and got a good amount of money. He bought food and other necessities for themselves. This continued for some time, and the poor old couple became quite rich and were free from hunger and needs. But as the devil is always ready with temptations for man, the farmer and his wife became the target of the devil. Greed overpowered the couple, and they became victims of the devil's plan. The farmer and his wife thought that the goose laid only one egg a day. But if they would cut open the belly, they could get all the eggs at a time and become very rich. As ill luck would have it, they cut open the belly of the goose and that laid the golden egg, and to their utter surprise and dismay, they found no egg in the belly. Thus the farmer and his wife lost the goose as well as the golden eggs forever and forever. It's sad, isn't it? So what do we learn from this story? Greed is something not that good, not at all good. Greed is not good in any situation. Greed is something that's dangerous. Before we go to discuss that, let's see in the story there are certain words that are a little difficult, not quite common. We do not use it in our everyday vocabulary. They are less frequently used words. So let us give attention to those words and try to understand them. We will know the meanings of those words. We'll also try to find out their opposites and how to use them in sentences. This will help us in a number of ways. It will increase our vocabulary. It will increase our word power. It will give us knowledge of using them in sentences. It will teach us a number of ways how we can use sentence structures and such others. Now in the story, the farmer and the goose that laid golden eggs, the first word we come across, which is a little difficult, is remote, which means far off, very far away. The opposite of remote is close by, nearby. Hardly means barely, not enough. The opposite of hardly is plenty, a lot, abundance. To make both ends meet is an idiomatic expression, which means to earn barely enough to live on, not much, to find difficulties in making life possible or comfortable, in meeting the expenses of everyday life. Next, petty means small. The opposite of petty is big, large, important sometimes, nook and corner, everywhere, all the places, nook and corner. The farmer's wife looked into every nook and corner where she had kept the money and gave them to her husband to go to the market to buy something, survive, be able to live. Opposite of survive is die. Survive, able to live. Opposite of survive is to die, to expire. Encouraged means give support, give hope. The opposite of encouraged is discouraged. We may use an idiomatic expression which can be used to express encourage and discourage. And to discourage means to throw cold water. And the opposite is to throw warm water. Discourage, which is more commonly used, to throw cold water, to discourage. He threw cold water on his friend's plans. Discourage. Surprise. Unusual. Unexpected happening. Opposite of surprise is usual, something that is known, something that is expected. In a dilemma is again an idiomatic phrase which means confused, unable to decide, not being clear what decision to take. Occurred, happened, occurred, came, an idea occurred to him, came to him. The opposite of occur is to hide, end, stop. Lanes are narrow roads. The opposite of lanes is roads. Plump means fat, plump means healthy. The opposite of plump is lean, thin, sickly at times. Haggling, bargaining, disputing about the cost. The opposite of haggling is to comply, to agree, not to dispute. It is usual for people when they go to marketplaces to haggle over the price of products, to haggle over the price of things. Merrily, happily. The opposite of merrily is sadly, unhappily. The boys were going home whistling in a merry mood. They were whistling merrily. Merrily, they went to the garden. Jolly means happy. Good mood. The opposite of jolly is sad mood, gloomy. Mood is the state of mind. He is in a happy mood. He is in a sad mood. These are common sentences. Dusk means sunset time. When we were children, the boys would go to play in fields and parks, but sunset time was the time for them all to come to their homes, to return home from parks and fields after their playing was done. So dusk. At dusk, we also see that Birds return to their nest. Sunset time, dusk. The opposite of dusk is dawn. Dawn is sunrise time. With the rising of the sun or before dawn, we Muslims have to finish our prayers. Dawn is the sunrise time. Cozy, comfortable. Cozy. The opposite of cozy is uncomfortable. Cozy also means warm. That house looks quite cozy, looks comfortable. Overjoyed, very happy, very excited. In a good way, to be excited, to be happy. We may express this in an idiomatic way, using an idiomatic phrase by saying, overjoyed means in high spirits. The opposite of high spirits is low spirits, sad mood. The farmer was in high spirits when he bought the fat and plump goose, and he was coming home merrily. Hardly means barely, scarcely. Amount, quantity. Temptations, attractions to do wrong, attractions to do evil, attractions to do things that are not right. The devil is always with his temptations, how to draw us into sin, into wrongdoing. Target, a person, place or thing chosen to attack. Enemies targeted the innocent people, and that's not good. Overpowered means defeated, subdued. So the farmer and his wife were overpowered by the temptations of the devil. They were overpowered by greed, belly, stomach, utter, complete, total. The plan was an utter failure, was a complete failure. Dismay, surprised in a negative way, distressed, to be disappointed. And with this, we come to the end of the story. So if we look back at the story, what are the things we learn from the story? We learn that greed is the root of miseries. Had the farmer and his wife not been greedy, they could have continued to have 1 egg a day from the goose that laid a golden egg and be contented with what they had. But they were greedy, so greed brought them misery. They lost everything. Contentment brings happiness. It's the same thing. If a person is contented, that person is happy. We should not go on looking for things, thinking of what are the things we don't have, but be contented, be happy with the things we have. Satisfaction brings happiness. Sometimes some people are not very rich, but they are happy, and that is why they're satisfied. And in that way, we can say they're rich. Grasp all, lose all. What did the farmer and his wife want to do? Grasp all the golden eggs at a time from the belly of the goose. And what happened? They lost all. Grasp all, lose all. We also learn that a greedy man is always poor. Because of his greed, he remains poor. Greed destroys everything. It was greed that killed the goose. It was greed that made the farmer and his wife kill the goose. So everything was destroyed. If we say this in Bangla, there are certain proverbs. Proverbs are proverb bakko, or even honar bochon we say. Oti lobhe tati noshto. I think all of my audience will understand this. Oti lobhe tati noshto. One. We can also say lobhe paap. So greed is a sin. We don't only read the story for the sake of reading it. We enjoy, of course, certainly. We've learned certain words, their opposites, how to use them in sentences so that we improve our vocabulary, our language, give our language a good texture by using words that are not commonly used, less frequently used. We can also use some idiomatic expressions. We can also use these proverbs in our writings, in essay writing, paragraph writing, or story writing. We can make them headings for a write-up. We've also learned a little bit of translation in Bangla, Oti Lobhe Tati Noshto, or Lobhe, not or, and Lobhe Pa. We've learned about the names of Allah, His attributes. We need that. I hope and pray that this session will help all of us to make ourselves better Muslims, better students, give us the ability to speak in better English, with better vocabulary. May Allah grant us these blessings. With this, I draw an end to this session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bye-bye.